You're watching the Scottish Football Zone with all the build-up and reactions.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Scottish Football Zone. It is a bit of a different panel tonight. I am your host, Robbie Collins, for the evening. Joining me is my good friend, Reagan. Reagan, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Robbie. Thanks. Looking forward to this game tonight.
It's certainly an interesting one. We'll get into it. There's a whole magnitude of different reasons why this is interesting, but also joining us on the show, he made his debut, I think, the day Rodgers left Celtic, I want to say, on the show. He's coming back for slightly different reasons, but it's Owen. Owen, how you doing?
Not bad, how you doing?
I think it was
doing well, thank you.
I think it was actually Wolf and Nancy. Hey, Robbie.
Was it Nancy?
Right,
okay. Right,
it would have been Nancy, actually. Sure.
All right, well, Owen, at least your club's in better times now under Mr.
I don't know
Martin
about
O'Neill,
that.
but we're not here.
No.
But no, we're not here to talk about Celtic tonight, lads. We'll save that for tomorrow night's show, because of course we will be live tomorrow before and after the Celtic and Aberdeen game. I do believe Michael will be back for that show, if I'm right, and I think Keithan might be joining us as well. So make sure you join us for that tomorrow. That should be a pretty interesting game. But guys, it is a pretty big game tonight. I think we'll kick off with the team sheets. I do have them out in front of me. So for the hosts, it will be Iovu in goals. I don't quite know the formation that Jim Goodwin's gone with here, but it's Selvey, Graham's the captain, it's Camera, then Ajay, Amar Fata plays, Fura, Lucas Stevenson, who I really, really like, Carestes, and of course Callum Waters up front. No Zach Sapsford, I don't know if he's injured. No, he's on the bench, so I'm not sure why that is. Obviously, in my opinion, he's one of Dundee United's most crucial players, to be honest with you, in the attacking areas. But for St Mirren away, there's obviously some big injury news that Mikael Mandron's not playing for the Buddies tonight, so it will be George in goals, a back three of Fraser, Gogic and Freckleton, Jaden Richardson at right wing back, Scott Tanser left wing back, it'll be Phillips, Bacchus and O'Hara in the midfield, and it'll be a front two of Roland Adobu and Dan and Lundula. So that is your two teams for the evening. Reagan, will come to you first. What was your initial thoughts on both sides there for tonight?
I think St Mirren probably stronger, like you said. Sapsford, I know they've signed, is it Johnny Russell from the MLS in the last couple of days? Robbie, is he on the bench? Or
Johnny Russell does make the bench for tonight. I did see that get confirmed earlier.
So I personally, for me, I think St Mirren, for me, got a stronger squad, but I still think it'll be a close match.
Owen, what about you? Obviously, Reagan, I personally agree with Reagan, but of course I'm wearing the black and white top, so I'm going to intend to agree with Reagan. I do think St Mirren have a stronger squad, but Dundee United are probably carrying a bit more momentum going into this match.
Literally, St Mirren, they have the better squad, I would say as well. Actually, obviously, it is a bit of a miss for St Mirren. Obviously, not having Mandron in there. I know he's not been like top form and all that for a wee while now, but he is still a big part of the St Mirren team. When you
some fans would beg to differ, but I agree.
Actually, a lot of St Mirren fans give him abuse every week, man. Actually, it's mental. But it should be an interesting game. So we'll see how it pans out for it.
Of course, Reagan, Jim Goodwin, over 3 years in charge at Dundee United. It's mental to think how quickly that 3 years has went. And how would you try and sum up his time in charge of the Dundee United?
I think he's done very well, Robbie, to be honest with you. I think the first year it was kind of taking him up from the championship as well, so he done well there, and he sort of stabilised the club probably, because during that time Dundee United have had some sort of financial issues as well, Robbie, I'm sure.
Of course, they've got the new owners in. I'm pretty sure the new owners that they've got in have quite a bit of money as well, so they look like they're going on the right path. And Reagan's right. I think we always say it, like the time that the Aberdeen job came around for Goodwin was maybe just a bit too early on his managerial career. He was still a bit. He was a young manager, you know what I mean. He just sort of left St Mirren, his first sort of big time job. try to take Aberdeen, didn't really work. Obviously, we don't need to dive into everything that happened, the Darvel result and etc. and all this and that, but he seems to have really found his place at Tannadice.
He has definitely found his place at Tannadice, actually. Fair play to him, a few hundred games as manager there, so fair play to him. Actually, I thought maybe he could have stuck to St Mirren a wee bit as well, because I think, as you said, Big Joe came about and he's like, oh, I'll take that easy. But I think he made a very big mistake by taking the Aberdeen job, for me anyway. Obviously, it didn't really work out for him, but obviously going to Dundee United, bringing them up in the Championship, and then actually kind of steadying the ship a wee bit for Dundee United. So I think he's been very, very good. But some might say he could be under a wee bit of pressure, but we'll see.
Certain fans do. I think a lot of the bigger Dundee United fans that you see, Callum Bell obviously springs to mind. He's sort of in the Goodwin in train. He doesn't mind them, but I do see a lot of Dundee United fans online criticising him. I mean, the Goodwin post celebrating 3 years in charge, all it was filled with was Goodwin out, which just sort of.
But I'd like to know what they would kind of expect better, to be honest, because Dundee United are sitting okay in the league, and then the quarterfinals of the Scottish as well. So I don't really know what the fans are wanting better, to be honest with you.
I'd agree, to be honest with you. And they've got a pretty good chance in the quarterfinals. I know they're playing Falkirk, and Falkirk are arguably doing all right now, but anybody can beat anybody in this league. That's why it's so competitive. That's why it's so close. And although I don't think Dundee United are going to get top 6, I think it'll be a bit of a push right now. I don't even know if it's still mathematically possible, to be honest. I think it is. Nah, I don't think they will either. But, they're the place below Falkirk. So, ahead of that quarter-final clash on, they gave themselves a pretty good chance going to Falkirk and try to get through to Hampden.
100%. Actually, even I swear Dundee United were the last team. Well, Dundee United literally just beat Falkirk away from home there as well, 3-2. So it's literally it's there for the taking again for them to go and do it again, and put their place to Hampden for the semi-finals. And literally, I can't see them getting top 6, but I think they'll settle for like maybe 7th or 8th for me. But I think there's been ups and downs this season for Dundee United, but they're not going to go right down to like 10th or something like that when they think. But 7th or 8th will be the main one for me. I think they'll finish there.
Aye, the last time these two sides met was the 6th of December, and Paisley finished 2-0 to St Mirren that day. Colin McMenamin and Keanu Bacchus getting the goals. Reagan, I don't think it's going to be that scoreline tonight. I'd be very surprised, but I do expect it to be a closer match.
I think it'll be close. I think it'll be a one. I think it'll be a 1-goal victory for me, Robbie. But I think I'd like to ask you about St Mirren, because I think they're still partying in Vienna's, to be honest with you.
It certainly feels like that way with some of the players, to be fair. But I mean, I think I'm assuming you're referring to the cup win and how it's sort of gone since then.
I mean, I think St Mirren done brilliant to win obviously the Premier Sports Trophy, but apart from that season, Robbie, it's been pretty disappointing. But I'm sure you would take it.
Aye, 100%. Like, I know we spoke about Jim Goodwin there, and was saying maybe because I stayed on at St Mirren. I'm happy I didn't stay on at St Mirren, to be honest, because we ended up with a better manager, in my opinion. And Alex, feel free to come on the show and debate with me anytime, mate, because I'll be up for that debate. But I definitely think...
Robbie, I was just going to say then, so we obviously heard last week that Mike O'Neill's joining Blackburn, and obviously is staying on for the international job until the end of the season. Do you think Stephen Robinson might maybe say goodbye to his St Mirren job in the May time?
I think if Mike O'Neill leaves after the World Cup qualifiers, because in my opinion, I don't think Northern Ireland are going to qualify. They've got quite difficult qualifiers, so I can't see it. But
I think it's the Italians they're playing, Robbie, is it?
I think so. So I don't see them getting through that. So I think when Mike O'Neill does leave, it will be Robinson's time to go. I'm so conflicted on it, because on one side, of course I'm gutted. our greatest ever manager, in my opinion. I'm going to miss him a lot, but at the same time, Robinson said it himself, every 3 or 4 years you've got to change something in the club. 4 years have been and gone now with Robinson in charge. He deserves to go and take on the Northern Ireland job. It's something he's worked hard for in his football and managing career, so I wouldn't blame him for leaving. And it would give us a chance to have a fresh start as well. Maybe bring in an exciting brand of football like Motherwell's done with Jens. You know, we can maybe go Scott Brown. I don't care better than anywhere, to be honest with you. Maybe when they were up in the Championship up for promotion, but maybe not anymore. Of course, you get Steve McGinn and that, but I like us to take a different approach. Of course, I've seen the reports today. Aberdeen are looking at the New York Red Bulls manager, I think, over in the MLS, which the last time an MLS manager came into Scotland, we know how that went. So I don't know.
I enjoyed it. It's good to watch him. He really took to Celtic.
It was great to watch him. He helped us win a cup, so I'll thank him for that. But no, I'm so conflicted on it, Reagan. I think Robinson's time will be the end of the season. I don't see him staying past that, and I don't expect him to either. He's absolutely worked his arse off at the club to make it what it is now. And I know we're going through that rot on, and obviously it's difficult when you're losing. As Michael likes to say, it can become a really bad habit. Likewise with winning. I still think this has been a successful season. If St Mirren were to finish 10th, and I don't see us finishing 11th, and I don't know if you agree.
I do agree, actually. I don't see us finishing 11th. I think there'll be obviously Kilmarnock have got really big games coming up as well. So I can't see St Mirren going to that position. Obviously, tonight's obviously a massive game for as well. So maybe a draw. Obviously, if you get a point, maybe then it looks better. But it's been I think it's still a successful season if you win a trophy and you obviously stay up. Obviously, it'll be really successful for you. Obviously, there's still a chance of a cup double, so you never know if it's at Monday.
I know. Could you imagine?
I was looking for the fixtures, Robbie. I'm sure St Mirren play Rangers soon, is it, Robbie? I think it's Dundee Utd, and then it's a Rangers in a few weeks.
Yeah, but Rangers at home on the Sunday, which will be the week after the cup game, so a week on Sunday, we'll play Rangers. So,
do you think this match takes on extra importance then? Because if you look at that game, I wouldn't say you would get anything from the Rangers game, but you never know in terms of you look at Marvin Bartley, new management, he takes point off Rangers.
I would say Paisley's a tough place to come, and I stand by that no matter what happened in the Motherwell game. They are just an exceptional team. There's no shame in getting swept aside by Motherwell. I mean, we done it to them at Hampden, so there's no shame in these type of things. But I think Rangers will be a lot closer, and I think we can pick up a point in that game, to be honest with you. I'd be happy enough with a point. But Jamie sends in a comment for the Off the Underside podcast saying, I still have nightmares about Old Wolf. I think all Celtic fans do, mate. I think the two gentlemen on the show tonight next to me certainly still have nightmares about him.
30-point commitment.
I think every Celtic fan does. But no, Reagan, do you see St Mirren staying up? Do you think they can better Kilmarnock and Livingston get into the split?
I think they'll definitely be better in terms of what David Martindale's doing at Livingston, Robbie. But I don't know about in terms of the playoff spot. I don't know. I just obviously that 5-0 game maybe changed my perspective in terms of St Mirren got the mentality, Robbie, to be in a dogfight, because obviously the last few years they've been in top 6. So have they got the mentality to be in that dogfight and be under that pressure?
Owen makes a very good point there. It's been 4 years, a roller coaster that's been going up. The whole 4 years has been upwards. There's not been many down moments under Stephen Robinson yet. This is the first sort of proper bad spell since he actually joined the club, and I think he lost 8 of his first 9 games in charge. This is new for the players. The players haven't experienced this yet. So do you think we can handle it if we were to get into relegation playoffs?
Well, it depends who would actually. Well, I think it depends who you would need to play. I think if you were in that relegation playoff, literally could easily be Literally,
Played my
there's
party
teams.
whistle. Should play my party whistle.
Oh, we're all there to get to see that next week. It's a Robbie v Reagan derby, man.
It's going to be good.
I know, should be a cracking game, to be fair. I'm hoping to try and at least make it along, but the kick-off time's pretty brutal. But that's a conversation for Friday's show. Ian is in the house, and evening with Robbie, Reagan, and Owen. Welcome, Ian. I hope you're doing well.
Welcome.
Ian, great to see you, mate.
Aye, thank you so much for watching the show. We really do appreciate it. But Owen, sorry, I completely forgot what you were saying there.
I think it depends who St Mirren need to play if you get to 11th, if you do get to 11th, that is. But I think the players can handle it. I think they can handle it very well. Actually, they've done it before. Actually, there was obviously the time last season when you had to score one goal to try and get top six against Ross County last season. Like the players know what they're made of. They can handle it. Actually, they're good enough to handle it. So, I can definitely see us go up, to be fair.
Reagan, I think a lot of people like to write the championship teams off in terms of a lot of people think the gap is that big that it doesn't really matter who any of the Premiership teams play, they know they're going to win. But if you're a St Mirren team, get into that split, and if we don't win many games in the split, then get into the playoffs, and having to face one of the teams that are going to be right up for it, no pressure on their backs, it can be a pretty nasty game coming up.
I know that people will probably look at the Mark Queen's Park going to Ibrox, Robbie, but Queen's Park were in a difficult space at that point. They were bottom of the league, and Rangers were obviously close to the top of the league. So I think it's totally different. I think you look at the top end of the championship. You look at even teams like I know you probably won't want to be reminded of it, but look at that match on a Friday night a few weeks ago. I think Taylor Sinclair actually said he was pretty unfortunate that they probably didn't win the game. I mean, they played pretty well. So I think the top end of the championship is still a good league. I mean, some of the players that are still playing at the top end of the championship, there's still a lot of very good players.
Aye, 100%, and it's only grown stronger as well, which is one of the main things. You know, our game's gradually getting stronger, which is only a good thing. Back at Dundee United, they've had a few troubles with their pitch the last couple of games. They've obviously had a lot of games postponed. I'm not too sure what the pitch conditions are looking like for tonight so far, but I'm sure we'll see pictures soon of what it's looking like. But you look at their neighbours across the road, and you know they're able to get games off. Do you think, in your opinion, there should be a stronger punishment for these teams not having their pitch sorted? Because you literally only need to go about 30 steps across the road and you can see the other pitch is fine.
I know it's a bit crazy, to be fair. Actually, I remember saying this. I think it was like a Dundee game or something like that. It got postponed, and literally their pitch was terrible. And I think we keep saying, "Oh, they need to do something," but they need to do something if they want to get their pitch in shape for any game. And it's the same with Dundee United. Literally, their pitch against Aberdeen was absolutely terrible. Literally, there was mud everywhere. It was really, really bad. And surprised it actually went ahead again, that Aberdeen game. But I think something needs to get done. Something needs to get told to them. Actually, they need to get told, well, actually, this isn't good enough. Like, you need to try and sort your pitch out here, because if you don't, then I think something should happen to you if you don't have your pitch ready in time.
Reagan, would you agree with that?
I think we've probably seen it with Dundee last year. I mean, some of the postponements has been shocking, to be honest with you. But I think is this the final year that the plastic pitches are in play, Robbie, this last year?
As far as I'm aware, I do believe clubs can put in for another year if they need it, but
no,
I think the likes of Kilmarnock are going to be getting rid of theirs. So
I thought you were going to say Kilmarnock are putting in a year's expansion. I was going to please don't.
No, but I think the getting rid of the plastic pitches, Reagan, will make it better. But I mean, you know, you look at Tannadice, for example, that they're no plastic, and their pitch is still getting a lot of games postponed this season.
I mean, there's quite a few, but it's also up to the club to take proper precautions. Like, if you know the weather's going to be bad up in Dundee or up in Aberdeen, that's about the people looking at the weather and saying, right, well, it's so important to actually put a sort of sheet over the pitch like 2 days before to make sure it's okay. Because, like, I'm just a normal guy off the street, but if that's me saying that, then surely the guys that are paid to do it, they should be thinking of these situations, Robbie.
I'd agree. There's definitely ways to prevent this, and I think our club should be better prepared because one, Scotland, it's not exactly nice weather ever in this country. There's always going to be rain. There's always going to be wind. It's always going to be pretty horrible conditions. So I definitely think that there's ways to improve it. But the Dundee United pitch is slowly getting there. It's slowly getting back to what it normally is. So that's decent. But I have just searched up 3 players for a wee guest to player for you. So we'll do that to close the show a bit later on. That should always be fun. I'm going to bring that back. We'll do one for the tomorrow show, and we'll get some for Friday as well because it's a little fun segment. So I can't wait to share them with you. But
Robbie, are these players related to St Mirren or?
These are all Scottish football related.
Okay.
Most of them are tailored towards your teams as well. So
Tony
you should. No, Tony Watt.
The Patrick Pistol.
My
club this year.
You don't help yourself, Regan. But back to Dundee United on. They've only got 6 wins in 28 games, which for a team sitting in 7th right now is actually pretty unbelievable. The reading of the stats, they've got 12 draws and they're a whole 12. The most draws, actually joint most draws with Rangers this season, which if you're a Rangers fan, you're probably a bit raging because you could be looking in a much better position if you got some wins. But Dundee United 12 draws, 6 wins. It's a smack bang mid-table season, you'd say, for Dundee United this year.
Oh, 100%, literally. The teams below them must be like thinking like, what do we need to do to like what do we need to do to get above them? Actually, like they must be worse than them if they can't get anywhere above the United this season. Actually, 12 draws especially. Like I think for a United side, you should be looking at more wins than that. Out of the 12 draws, there should be ones that you could get wins, but if you're sitting in 7s, you're not complaining. Literally, if at least you're not going to get relegated or something like that. Like, if you're having if you're sitting 7th and all that way, like all the draws and most of the wins anyway. But I think for a team of United, they should be looking more like maybe top 6 a wee bit for me.
But Regan, an interesting stat I read earlier that Dundee United have now lost to Rangers this year, and they've only lost to Celtic once, and obviously drew at Celtic Park once. So the record against the sort of bigger sides in the league is actually pretty impressive.
I think you're spot on there, but I'm also taking into consideration that the actual 2 times that Dundee United played Celtic and Rangers, they played under two managers who are pretty hopeless, in Wilfred Nancy and Russell Martin.
Of course, but you also flash your mind back to the Rapid Vienna results. But I mean, I know it was very early on the season, but they
played well the games, right?
Played very well. So I think they're showing, Regan, that they can do it. They obviously beat Hearts at Tynecastle as well. Let's not forget that. So they've shown that they can beat the bigger sides.
I think one of the big advantages for Dundee United now is they've actually got a Scottish player in their squad, because it's been so. I know there's been a lot of talking points, Robbie, but it's been a lot of European players this season. So maybe that's been a sort of big reason why they've sort of struggled to get in the top 6 and be up there with Falkirk and stuff like that, because not a lot of the players really know Scottish football.
And of course, that can take a lot of time for players to adapt to this league. We've seen that Rangers have spent a lot of money in January, yet to really see the full force in them, you're sort of getting 45 minutes here or there, never really getting a complete performance. So it does, when players come in for all the other players, it can take a lot of time.
Oh, it's going to take a lot of time to get used to the league and all that you've came into from wherever you've been. literally, when I found out what Dundee Utd having a full clear out of the full team, they were bringing players from like I don't even know, like Finland, stuff, but somewhere else and all that. Actually, you've got one Scottish player in that team, like, so it's going to be taking a while to get used to it. Obviously, said about Rangers as well. It's like there's a lot of players that are still yet to like show what they're made of, I would think. But obviously, as you said, let's say full clear it. Actually, it's going to take time for them to actually adapt it.
Aye. Reagan, going back to St Mirren, you look at the team tonight, the obvious player missing is Mikael Mandron at the starting 11. Interestingly enough, Scott Tanser keeps his place for the away trip to Livingston. Scott Tanser, who hasn't really had much game time the last year since Declan John came in January, but I think he's still definitely an influential player and one that knows how to get good deliveries into the box.
I think he is. I mean, he's been there and done it. He's obviously won the trophy this year. And like you said, he's been there and done it in terms of it. St Mirren's the 3 top 6 places. So, like, he's well and truly knows what this league requires. So, I think he's perfect for this type of occasion tonight.
Aye, and on one big key in every Scottish football game is going to be the midfield, and St Mirren have finally got their full strength midfield back. O'Hara, Bacchus and Phillips are back in action. We've seen them against Livingston. They looked actually quite good. That was one of the positives I took away for that game. How much will that help us in the running, do you think, considering how poor the midfield's really been since Bacchus and O'Hara have been it?
Oh, actually, the season's took a massive turn for St Mirren when they two have been out injured for a long time. Much like Bacchus and O'Hara was a massive miss for St Mirren, and literally didn't help. But near every game you had to swap and change with people like Donnelly and like Alan Campbell at some point. As well. Like, it wasn't easy for St Mirren at all. So it's a massive booster for St Mirren to have all the two players back beside Phillips, because for me, I think Phillips plays a lot better with the two beside him. I think so. It's a massive booster, and so it could obviously help St Mirren into the running for the split, and with the split and obviously staying up as well.
Yeah, and of course, Regan, you've got the depth now. You know, Jacob Devaney's one that sort of took the headlines. Obviously, scored that goal against Airdrie, which an absolute stunner. Came obviously down with a pretty high reputation. He's somebody that someone can utilise off of the bench, and it can be a real handful for players.
Aye, and St Mirren have produced so many players. You look at the guy, is it Mooney went to Arsenal, and who's the other guy? Scottish guy that was leaving the Celtic, Rangers as well.
I'm not sure. I know Evan Mooney. You've obviously got Fraser Taylor. He's obviously at Partick Thistle right now.
Yeah, he's at Partick Thistle. He's at my club, aye.
Aye, another good player.
I'm trying to think of who I'm thinking about here, Robbie.
I can't think who you're thinking about either, to be honest.
Oh, so James Wilson went down to Tottenham as well, so.
Oh, James Wilson, you've got Lewis Jamieson that used to be in there. We've had a lot of decent success.
They'll come back to me.
But, I was just having a blank.
St Mirren's a good place for players to develop in. Well, and obviously Mark O'Hara's been there and done it. Obviously, Phillips is someone who's getting recognition now from Republic of Ireland. So, as much as you don't want to hear Robbie, he's getting attention. So, it'll be hard for him to probably not be tempted away in the summer as well.
Aye, and of course, triggering that clause in his contract means we can keep him for a bit longer. Obviously, it's till 2027. So at least we'll get a bit of money if it goes. And this summer, Ian saying win the cup seems to cost him. Some money have been regressed until Ian got the sack. It makes a fair point. It happened to us in 2013, and I do believe it was one league game we won the rest of the season, although to be fair, it was a shorter format that season, and I don't think we played the cup final until about January. So it was obviously a bit of a shorter time period, but he makes a good point that winning the cup seems to damage a few teams right now.
It does, to be fair, actually. I think that's what kept Tolina actually in the job when he won that Scottish Cup. I think if he lost that, then he wouldn't have been manager for any part in this season anyway. but as you said, cost teams a wee bit because after someone won the Premier Sports Cup, after Livingston, it's just went downhill from there. And obviously beating Hearts was obviously was very good to beat Hearts, obviously. But then after that, it's just went back downhill again. Like they just no fight for something at all. Just no really, just looking really poor on the pitch. And then, but yeah, it's like the cup wins definitely cost a lot. St Mirren especially as well.
Aye, it does seem to be doing that. Hopefully we can win double up because I'll certainly take that. But shall we give you a
I've found out the player was the guy that was at St Mirren last year, Dylan Reid.
Oh, Dylan Reid. Aye, he went into Crystal Palace he went to?
Aye. He was like my Celtic and Rangers last year.
Another very good young player coming through the academy, which hopefully there's a few more being put just because, you know, Michael always bangs a drum on this show that he wants to see more the Scottish players and especially younger players coming through and getting chances, and some of them can show glimpses. Of course, you know, you're not going to play unless you're good enough, but I think even sending them out on loan to teams like Partick Thistle, you know, Partick Thistle have picked up Fraser Taylor and Ocean Smith on loan this season, both making an impact. I know obviously Ocean Smith has been the sort of bigger player for Thistle, I would say anyway. Regan, you'd probably know better than me, but he definitely popped up in some big moments, so I think stuff like that can work as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's been really good actually, Robbie. He missed 2 chances off the bar on a Saturday. I spoke to Mark about that. I mean, he probably should have scored the first one from the free kick, but the second one he's got to score it. But he's been a very good player for Partick Thistle.
Aye, it's been pretty good. But since we've reached the half an hour point, lads, shall we give you your first player of the 3 that I've got in front of me? So this is going to work. I'm going to read out each team. Oh, and you'll know this. I've played this with you hundreds of times.
Yeah.
So I will read out each team that this player has played for. I'll give you the time period and I'll give you the appearances and goals that this player has in each team. So starting off with your first player, this player started his football senior career in 2004. He spent 1 year at Bristol Rovers, making 2 appearances and scoring 0 goals.
Some boy, yes, man.
Second clue.
All right, just want to skip right to the second clue. Right. He then moved to Chelsea in 2005, where he spent 5 years at the Blues.
I know this one. Yes, it's Scott Sinclair.
It is Scotty Sinclair. Aye.
But you know why? Because as soon as you said Chelsea, I remember they played for Bristol Rovers. Because I think he's actually back there now, Robbie, playing for them.
It is. I moved back there in 2022.
My ball knowledge is good.
I love it. Well, I was trying to make these not so easy, but not so hard. But I've pretty much failed in that already. So we'll move on to your second one. This one is slightly easier, to be honest with you, but we'll see how you go on. This player started his Rangers youth career in 2004, where he spent 9 years at Ibrox before moving to the St Mirren Youth Academy in 2013, where he spent 1 year there and then transitioned into St Mirren's first team, where he spent 4 years at the club, racking up 79 appearances and scoring 15 goals.
Stephen Thompson?
It's no Stephen Thompson. Owen?
No, none from that.
Nothing. Do you want the next clue? You'll get it after this. He moved in 2018 to Celtic, where he spent 2 years at the club, racking up 14 appearances, scoring 0 goals.
No. Wow.
In that time, by the way, he had 2 loan appearances at St Mirren and Sunderland, racking up about 32 appearances, where he scored 6 goals over the 2 loan spells.
If you say that again, he played it 9 years at Rangers, then joined St Mirren, then joined Celtic.
So 9 years in the Rangers youth. He then went to St Mirren in 2013 to join their youth academy, and then he moved into the St Mirren first team in 2014.
Paul McGowan?
It's no Paul McGowan. If you want, I can give you the next club.
On you go, aye.
In 2020, after failing to really get a big chance in the Celtic first team, he moved over to America, joining into Miami, where he spent 1 year at the club.
Oh, my pal. Lewis Morgan.
It is Lewis Morgan. There you go. I didn't know when you would have got that, to be honest with you. I thought you would have maybe got it for St Mirren Celtic.
How many goals did you say he scored for Celtic?
0.
Did it?
Well, why? Because it didn't score.
He scored one against Rennes. Remember that game?
I remember that one.
Against Rennes, right? Well, you can blame Wikipedia for that.
Just before COVID hit, he scored against Rennes.
Every stat I've got comes from Wikipedia, so blame them. But
see, when you said St Mirren Celtic, I was like, oh yeah, I got it. And then when you said 0, I was like, oh, it can't be.
That's Wikipedia's fault. But are you ready for your final player?
I would go
Yep.
for it.
Right, this player started his senior career in 1995, where he spent 2 years at what team are they? At Danish professional football club Velge, where he racked up 58 appearances, scoring 10 goals.
Yatchenko.
No, it's not. A good guess, but I like that. Should I give you your next club? Oh, and you get a guess.
Alright, go on.
Right. In 1997, he moved to Hamburger CV, where he spent 3 years at the German side, racking up 74 appearances, scoring 6 goals.
Still not got a clue here.
No, next clue. This is the one where I think you might get it. In 2000, he moved to Everton, where he spent 5 years at the club, racking up 141 appearances, scoring 11 goals.
But Everton to Denmark to...
For Denmark to Germany to England to Everton.
I know that. Tommy Gravison.
It is Tommy Gravison. What a legend in Scottish football. Of course, I would have then went on to tell you. He played with Real Madrid for a year, and then he moved to Celtic, where he spent 2 years at Celtic, and then back to Everton on loan.
A bit like myself, a bit of a nutcase.
Get some good cracking stories off a Cy Ferry, but an own goal, so he does that. But that was good. I will get some more for tomorrow. I'll think of some more difficult ones so I can really test Michael and Ethan, I think it is, joining the show. But well done, guys. You've done well with that, to be fair. Ian says that as well. Brilliant, Reagan, mate. Well done. But back to the game tonight. We've not got long till kick-off, 35 minutes. It's fair to say, Reagan, if St Mirren lose this game, they are definitely right down there in that dogfight, and I think we already are, but just the circumstances are, we've drawn to both with the league the last, 3 times we've played them away from home. Of course, we beat them in extra time in the cup, but over the course, we've only picked up draws against them. We're not really finding the way to win games. Of course, we get, let's be honest, humiliated last week at St Mirren against Motherwell. We really need to start picking up wins somewhere. Aye,
because if you, like Michael says, he's not here, but he's here in mind and spirit, and like if you can get in a sort of losing habit, then it can be very difficult to get out of that habit. And I think St Mirren as well, like I said, St Mirren's next match is against Rangers, so if you don't win the night, then you need to pick up 3 points against Rangers or pick up a point, because I suppose the big saving grace, as much as I hope there's no many fans in the club watching, but the fact that John Jules is not playing for the rest of the season is probably a big bonus to Europe, because that guy was playing he was playing brilliant against Celtic. He was playing amazing.
Scored a hat-trick against us as well. It showed it, but he's made it. Of course, in between that Rangers game, Reagan's Partick Thistle, and they're not going to be walkovers. They're going to come to win.
Partick Thistle.
No, but they will be looking to Paisley.
A strong outfit. Don't discount the Jags.
Of course.
It'll come and bite you.
Of course, the saving guy says they'll be missing Ocean Smith and Fraser Taylor for that game.
I think Fraser Taylor for Wacken Gala, for people at Partick Thistle, he's got a kind of problem with an injury. He played one game and then he got injured against Arbroath.
Hopefully.
Arbroath away from home. So he got injured in his second appearance, so he's not going to play for a bit, I think.
Is that Mark Wilson getting our players injured on purpose now? But no, I do think, look, I want to be optimistic and say St. should be winning that in the quarterfinals. It's a chance at another trip to Hampden. It's the only thing really left for the players to really focus their attention on by this relegation battle. So you like to think they'll at least show it for that game, but we'll see what happens. We'll talk about that obviously more on Friday. You sort of go back to league then, Reagan. It's not an easy running for St Mirren. You're Dundee United away,
Yeah,
then
right.
next in the league, Rangers, then Falkirk away, Aberdeen at home, and Celtic into the split. That is a
Yeah,
brutal run of fixtures.
I suppose the only victory you see there, and I hope Paul Donaldson's not watching because he's the one Aberdeen fan we'll see on here. And I think in terms of the Aberdeen game, Robbie, that's the only one where you think that's sort of a guaranteed 3 points for you. But apart from the rest of them, I mean, Falkirk are a good team. Rangers are pretty good. Apart from losing 2-goal leads, but Rangers are pretty good. And then you've got obviously the Falkirk match as well. So many difficult matches.
Aye, Rangers are good for 45 minutes and then they just completely wipe it. But
Are you hoping that, Robbie, I was going to say, are you hoping that you finish 10th and win 2 trophies?
aye, I'd honestly take 2 trophies and winning the relegation playoff, to be honest with you. I wouldn't mind that. But no, if we won both cups, I wouldn't care what else happened to us for the rest of the season. That would, as Alistair, and by the way, if you've no went and listened to or watched last night's show where we focus on St Johnstone with Alistair and Callum, that was an amazing show. Really, really good. Reagan, I know you were there as well. Really, really good show.
I enjoyed listening to it, and St Johnstone's a good club as well. They're looking to bring some new ideas. I'm not so sure that he was talking about bringing in clowns outside the match. I don't think people in Scottish football would really enjoy that. But apart from everything else, I think if St Johnstone can build on their revenue and get maybe face paintings, burgers, beers, and stuff like that, then I think people off St Johnstone will definitely buy into it.
Aye, well, the good thing, guys, about this setup is it allows me to do so many magical things, and I've managed to find a picture of Tannadice for tonight. So I'm just going to bring it on screen and let everybody at home see what the picture's sort of looking like. You can see there. That's what we're looking like for the night. So
the pitch.
aye, so what's your initial reaction to that, guys?
I've been growing totties for it, Robbie.
What a game we've got on the horns tonight. Well, that is going to be some great football to watch. And I don't imagine it's going to be pretty tonight, to be honest.
It's not going to be pretty. Actually, last time I read it did a Dundee Utd score, I actually read it did 0-0 against Aberdeen from the first whistle. Literally, when I seen that picture, I was like, that's going to finish 0-0, nobody's scoring. Literally, and I've just seen that picture again, and it's not going to be pretty tonight.
I mean that can't be good for the players either. But
No.
I mean, you look at across the road, there was six openings at the weekend against Dundee against Highby, so it was only across the road, so surely they must be doing something different.
Exactly.
Maybe they bought a seed oil for Amazon and they've bought a seed oil for Wish.
Just looking at the other news in Scottish football quickly, guys. Of course, Arbroath take on Ayr United tonight as well. A pretty interesting game. Ryan Flynn, former St Mirren player, captains Arbroath into that game tonight.
You know, Robbie, I was just going to say that to you. I was watching Arbroath on Saturday night, and there was so many players that I actually knew. Remember Cochrane that was a Hearts?
Aye, Cochrane, aye.
He was playing midfield. And then you had Riley, who played with St Mirren and Partick Thistle.
Gavin Riley. Yep. We've got Ryan Dow in there as well.
Ryan Dow, aye.
Oh, it's full.
Dowsy, as they kept showing on Saturday. But there was so many players that actually knew. But who's playing up top for Ayr? Because I was talking to Roger Hannon last week, and he was telling me that they're playing a midfielder up front because they've not got any strikers, is it?
Tonight it looks like it's going to be George Finney up front, which I don't know too much about the guy. He's number 55, so I can't imagine he's too high up the pecking order at Ayr. So it does look like it's going to be a sort of midfielder player like that up front, which is
Aye,
interesting.
they're struggling for numbers.
Aye, but if we can bring light to the situation, obviously Reagan put it in the group chat earlier on. Our both have confirmed that there will be a pay-per-view live stream for tonight, which is always good. More Scottish football to watch for people. It's only £2 to purchase the stream, and all proceeds made from this match, will be jointly chosen by both clubs to be donated to Football Memories, who work with Alzheimer's Scotland. Now, Reagan, that is an absolute brilliant movement.
I mean, I did see a brilliant charity match come up for Alzheimer's Scotland as well, where they've got so many people involved, like Neil Lennon and Alex McLeish and Alec Ray and James McFadden, James McPaig. So Alzheimer's are doing a load of great work for Scottish football, and hopefully that all the money raised for tonight will go to a great cause.
Aye, and obviously as well, it means more fans can get to watch. Fans maybe can't make with midweek matches as a Tuesday night. People have work in the morning. Maybe your fans can't travel. So, giving them that option for £2 plus it going to charity, it makes it all worth it.
100%. It's a good thing that they've done. But actually, as you said, people can't make it for midweek working in the morning, or people can't travel from where they're from. So it's very good to put for that anyway.
Aye, and of course on the Scottish Football Zone we like to deliver you all the news. Scotland women's are currently 3-0 up in Women's World Cup qualifying away at Luxembourg. Caroline Veer has scored a double in the game.
I would like you to tell us the full Luxembourg lineup, please. No.
I can give you Barbosa right back. That's about it, to be honest with you. But no, it's nice to see the Scotland women's team potentially look like they could qualify for the World Cup as well. Imagine that, having both the women's team and the men's team go to the World Cups. That would be pretty good for the country.
Yep.
Aye, it's looking good. It's looking good, the Scottish game. Something I wanted to touch on a bit off topic, a bit out of Scottish football, but I'll still link it back in. Reagan, I seen something earlier that Jose Boto, Flamengo's football director, has sacked Felipe Luis after an 8-0 win. The club won the game 8-0 and they still decided to part ways with Felipe Luis. Now, the question I've got for you is, us, and we say it on this show all the time, managers don't get enough time in the game, but that just feels like it's taking the mick a wee bit.
I know, Scottish football can be a bit mad, but that's crazy. I don't know where they're sitting at the table. I know they signed as Paqueta for West Ham, is it, Robbie?
Look at Paqueta. Aye, pretty good player. But
I don't know where they're sitting at the table, but it seems a bit strange. I don't know.
Aye, it certainly does, and it just makes you wonder, can you imagine, right, one day like Dundee United beat Falkirk 8-0 and then Dundee United sacked Jim Goodwin after it?
I tell you what, but they might sack him tonight.
Aye, after St Mirren win 8-0 away from home just to make
probably
up for
probably happy, probably jumping about going, oh, Jim Goodwin.
Oh, you'd see me on this show if we won 8-0 away at Dundee United, trust me. But I own that was a pretty weird headline that I read earlier. I thought I'd bring it up on the show because I've seen some weird stuff in Scottish football, but that might actually just top the table.
Literally, the fact that he's just won 8-0 and the people that's part of ways him, he must be going in there like, oh, they're going to give me a congratulations for winning 8-0. Nah, you're getting sacked. Literally, you're winning too easy for my lighting. Literally, what? That is a joke, man. Literally, 8-0 win sacked.
It must have been something to do with the players or the boardroom or something. It must have been a disagreement because surely there's more to the story.
You'd imagine so. I'm assuming we'll find out more about it in the coming days of why he actually got sacked. But he seemed to be getting on alright of this, so maybe we'll see him come out of Europe and manage it here for a bit.
And if the Robinson leaves.
Well, we will be looking for a new manager soon, so that'll be good. No, we're not getting Scott Brown enough. I don't even want Scott Brown anymore, but
Oh,
No,
come on, Robbie, he's a good manager, good guy.
I'm sure he could be a good manager. Probably just not right now, to be honest with you. I don't know. I don't know. We could spend hours talking about the Simon
Alex
manager
Ray,
situation. Nope, don't even bring him up
Stuart
again
McCall,
about Simon. Don't, no.
Stuart McCall.
I tell you what, I'd take Stephen McGinn. I'll take
He
McGinn.
goes to Stephen Presley there, because he's
Stephen
Robbie.
Presley. No, I definitely won't for his dreams. But aye, back to the night. Reagan, where do you think this game's going to be won and lost?
I think in terms of the strikers, because I think both sort of squads have really struggled to score goals. So I think if the striking option for both teams can really fire, then I think that's where it could won and lost. I also think that in terms of the midfield, I don't know. In terms of that's in midfield. I mean, it's so strong, so that could potentially be the match winning moment as well.
Aye. Oh, and here's some pretty frightening stats for you. Since Jim Goodwin left St Mirren in 2022, he's won 5 out of his 10 Premiership games against the Buddies, losing only 3. That is his joint most wins over any opponent in the Scottish Premiership in this time, along with St Johnstone. Another really scary stat that I'm pretty sure I said to you earlier.
He's come back to on you, Robbie. He's come back to on you.
Don't. But you want to hear another really crazy stat. St Mirren are winless in 13 away midweek games in the Scottish Premiership. The last time we won an away game midweek was February 2023 with a 3-1 victory over Aberdeen. That is horrifying. That's that. So Reagan, my question over to you is: can St Mirren turn that around tonight?
Yeah, I think it's about time, Leo. You're performing for over 3 years. God's sake.
And that's me on the show every week, and I'm saying Robinson's the best manager in the league.
Here's to you, Stevie Robinson. But I mean, that's a disgrace. 3 years for the last midweek win.
Of course, there is other games on the night. Ross County played in Fairland Athletic, which again, another interesting game. I know you've watched the Scottish Championship a bit more than us. How's Stuart Kettlewell settled back into life at Dingwall?
He's actually done all right. I was impressed with him. I've seen them against Queen's Park. They played pretty well. Jay Henderson was probably the best player. Robbie, and I'm sure you've seen him in the Friday night games. They bought the big guy that used to play for Hearts, Piazzu. So he seems to be a handful. So I think in terms of him, I think he's done a good job so far.
Aye, Owen obviously up against Neil Lennon's pals. Neil Lennon obviously had one of probably the toughest years he'll face as a football manager. He still finds himself in that promotion playoff race, but sitting in 4th right now, joint on points with United. So it's fair to say this is a pretty big night in terms of the promotion playoffs.
It is literally. Even with United as well, playing not even a striker up front, which it's a massive game for you as well, because literally they've dropped. I think they've actually dropped stupid points a wee bit during the season, but for them Fairland, this is a really big game actually. Obviously, pretty sure they just won 1-0 at home to Queen's Park the weekend just there.
They did a penalty. Against my Spiders. Even though I don't like Spiders, but I like Queen's Park.
But yeah, actually, massive game for both sides. Even Arbroath as well, because Arbroath are pushing for second a wee bit as well, I would think. With the way the table looks now. So it's a big game for every team, especially the Scouties, because they're down the bottom.
What I would say about Arbroath on Saturday was they sort of didn't play like a team that wanted to win the game. They sort of just sat back the full game. I'm sort of disappointed with them.
You get a few like that. I think, was it Alistair and Callum were saying the same about, was it about Arbroath or was it a different team? I can't remember. Was it Ayr United that just played St Johnstone, I think?
Yeah.
Aye.
They were sort of saying the same. It seems like a lot of teams are maybe gone with that approach in the Championship. Of course, against Timo Valakari's team, it's slightly harder to do that. They're so quick. They're really good at moving the ball. Really nice football to watch. So I think when you look at it, Reagan, we sort of had this conversation last night, right? But do you think teams will start taking a bit more look at Championship managers like Simo? I think after the success with Jens, I think it's only natural now you're going to start seeing more clubs try to replicate that with a nice style of football.
I think that there can be a football snobbery in terms of the Championship. I think there's so many good managers. You look at all over Europe as well. I mean, as much as Celtic fans can be put off by Wolf and Nancy, but there are also so many good managers that you could say, well, thank God they persuade them to go. Look at Cesc Fabregas at Como. You look at all these kind of managers that are showing the opportunity. You look at Mark Wilson at Partick Thistle. Mark Wilson, I don't mean it to be derogatory towards him. I said that to him when he first got the job. Not a lot of people wanted him to be there. And it was about him proving that he was able to be there. And I know Gordon Dale's his pal or whatever, but I mean, I don't think he was a very good salesman for his pal, because he used to keep slagging him about breaking, about everything else. So I think that, see, once the managers actually, they enjoy what they're doing, obviously. And you look at, for example, Sean Crichton at Queen's Park. I mean, Sean Crichton's just recently retired. He's just recently retired from football. He was a captain at, obviously, the Yankees and stuff like that. And obviously, see if you can actually show these young managers a bit of patience, they can actually do very well, Robbie. You know?
Aye, 100%. I'd tend to agree. Just before we get your guys' score predictions as Hall 7, so we will wrap up here. But I got another angle of the pick, so this is what it looks like in the halfway line.
Oh, for Jesus' sake.
So it's going to be it's not going to be a
Field if there was a tie field.
Field at Tannadice, what a media headline that is. But
it's got to be wobbly, man.
I do what I wish we don't do this often. Against hold on, what's that? Against Scottish players and managers, definitely. I think that exists. I'd agree. We don't do this often on the Scottish Football Zone. It feels very special to me, and I think everybody at the show would agree. I think everybody here wishes Tony Fitzpatrick a very happy 70th birthday. A St Mirren true legend turned 70 today. Of course, he was at the Motherwell game a couple of weeks ago with another great Scottish football man, Sir Alex Ferguson. A really nice picture of him, Tony and Robinson actually before the game. But I just wanted to take that minute because there's no many legends at St Mirren are in football, really. No many that should really be described as legends, get sort of banded around all the time. But Tony's a guy that when we were in the Championship literally predicted the fact we'd be up 6 and we'd be competing at the high end of the Premiership, and it's spot on the money. So there is definitely legends in there, and Tony is one of them. So happy birthday to him. But guys, I want to get your score predictions for this game. Reagan, we'll kick off with you. What is your score prediction for Dundee United versus St Mirren?
Dundee United 0, St Mirren 1.
Oh.
I don't know how they're going to score in that tie field, but I think they will.
It's going to be a fun game watching Dan and Lindelof rolling it over, try and put one in the net. But Owen, we'll come to you. What is your score prediction for tonight?
Literally, as I keep seeing that pitch. Honestly, I keep seeing that pitch. I keep saying to myself, I can't see a goal at all in that game. Honestly, with the way the pitch looks.
Oh, come on, you need to be positive.
But I'm going to get goals, but still, I'm going to say 2 each.
2 each? You said no goals a minute ago.
I know, but I'm still going to get goals. It's all right. Still going to get goals. Deserves goals.
All right, okay, so you're going 2 each, which I can't see it on that tatty field, to be honest with you.
4 own goals.
There is the greatest ever manager in Sir Alex Ferguson standing beside him, so there you go. But no, it's time for my prediction. I don't know. I always try to be fair on this channel. I never try to have my bias black and white. Well, sometimes I like to think I'm pretty honest on this channel most of the time. I try and not look at it through the black and white tinted specs. I don't see St Mirren winning tonight, I'll be honest. So I'm going to go for a 1-0 draw.
Oh.
I think both teams score, but I don't think anybody wins the game. And I'd honestly, with the way that pitch is looking, I'd be happy coming down the road with a point, to be honest. But anything else you guys want to say before we wrap up?
No.
Nah.
No, happy to take us out. Right, that's fine then. Thank you so much to everybody that's tuned in live. Thank you to Ian and Jamie and Jeff as well, who also commented on the stream. Thank you so much, guys. It is well appreciated. We will be back after the game. I think about 9:15. Don't hold me to that. At 9:15, it'll be somewhere. And then we will be back talking about everything that happens in the game. Hopefully a St Mirren win. But we will also be live tomorrow before and after the Celtic, the Aberdeen versus Celtic game. Pataudra, pretty interesting one. We'll see if we can rope Owen back into sort of give his thoughts about that. Ian says, cheers lads, great chat. Absolutely no problem at all, Ian. Make sure you join us again at the back of 9. That has been all from me. I've been Robbie. That has been Reagan. That has been Owen. Thank you guys so much for joining me. We will see you guys after the game. And all I have to say is, come on, you say.
You're watching the Scottish Football